welcome to Gulfstream Park. It is February 7th, 2015. Christina Bossanakis, Ron Nicoletti. It is Dawn Day. It's so exciting. We've just got so many races here today. I'm stoked. We have 6 stakes. We have the Dawn, Grade 1, the Gulfstream Park Turf Handicap, Grade 1, but even the cards on the, several of the races on the undercard are just spectacular.
I'm loving the maiden races.
Yeah.
There's some maiden races. Great breeding throughout our maiden races today. Huge fields. It is probably one of the best cards I've ever seen at Gulfstream Park, so it's going to be a fun day. We got a fast main track. We got a firm turf course. We got breezy conditions, and boy, do we have guarantees. In the Rainbow Six today, we have $100,000. That's races 8 through 13. We have a 13-race card today with this 12 o'clock post. So Rainbow Six does not start till race number 8. We also have a $100,000 guarantee in our Pick 5 this afternoon. That's the last 5 races of card, 9 through 13. And in the late Pick 4, $200,000 guarantee in the pool. That's races 10, 11, 12, and 13. So you have to adjust. We usually have 11 race card. We're going with 13 today. It's a lot of fun. Where do we start?
Yeah, we got to start at the beginning because we do have a lot of races. We have the same amount as we do every day, but let's just jump into it. On the first race of today's on today's card, it is a 25,000 maiden claimer, 7.5 furlongs on the turf course. A couple of scratches of the also eligibles, 15 and 16. And Ron, we're in agreement here. Number 2, Tuminia, and likely that this 3-year-old daughter of Big Brown, I think she's going to be showing speed in here. She's really tough to look past in this first.
Yeah, I mean, she looks like the logical story. She's dropping $10,000, turning back to 7.5 furlongs. She responded to the addition of blinkers by setting the pace, finishing 4th. She was only beaten 2 lengths. That was against $35,000 type. She looks, she'll be going a mile. What I want to tell everybody, this is the early races where you start looking how the track might be playing today with the turf course and with the main track, and you can get sort of judge how you are going to play the rest of the cards this afternoon. So number 2, like you said, Tuminia, some speed in that horse. I also used the 4D's Causeway, which you did too, and we closed it. I closed with the 10, and you went with the number 1.
On to the second race on the card, and it is an allowance optional claiming event, a claiming tag, $25,000, 7 furlongs on the main track. No changes thus far. We're going to have Larry Colmus come on in just a few moments. He's going to give us all the updated changes and scratches for today's card, but it kicks off the early Pick 4. And Ron, my top selection, looks like we're in agreement again. A couple of maybe hopefully just their formful, these races. Number 3, Indian Brute, is the I think this colt is going to be the one that's going to he's going to certainly be the favorite, I think. And also last time, second place effort. It was also going 7 furlongs as well. So I think if he follows back with an effort like that, we're in good shape.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's sitting on that winning performance after that promising local debut at this distance. We recovered from a slow start. He finished second to a hard-knocking horse called Dangerous Brew. Trainer Barkley Tag. Leading rider Javier Castellano in the saddle. We both have the number 7 horse in our second spot. That's JIC. This one moved to the Marcus Vitale barn. Marcus really good with new claims, 24%. And we ended it up with the 8 Pomeroy's Pack. We got basically the same 3, just our second and third selections of flip-flop.
Yeah, and I think for the early Pick 4, these are the 3 horses we're going to use.
I think you use these 3, and you get going here, and it's going to get a little tougher as we go on.
And tougher as we go on. It starts in race number 3. It is the inaugural running of the Texas Glitter. It is 5 furlongs on the turf course. A race that I'm pretty excited to see, Ron. It is for 3-year-olds. And one of the horses that we haven't seen since the Breeders' Cup is my top selection, number 8, Super Colossal. And this is a 3-year-old son of Warfront. And Ron, if we go back to, he was a perfect 3 for 3 going into the Breeders' Cup for trainer Eddie Pliza. Now, very fast work. The week, Breeders' Cup week, he worked fast. And at the time, Eddie Pliza, not particularly thrilled with how fast he worked leading up to the Breeders' Cup. Showed speed early in the early going of the Breeders' Cup, and he backed up. They gave him the rest of the year off. Obviously, the horses he's finishing behind in Breeders' Cup, that's the best in the country.
Yeah, and he stumbled at the start, but the key to everything you said is Warfront. He's debuting on the turf for the first time, like Warfront's on the turf. Look, looks like the one to beat in there. It's number 7, It's Not Me. We both have in second. Returning fresh off his dominating victory, that was in the OBS sprint. Trainer Jorge Navarro has Edgar Zayas atop the stakes-winning son of the Wildcat. A logical choice. I closed it out with the 1, and you went with the number 5 horse in the 3rd spot. But certainly Super Colossal is absolutely one to beat. Here's one of the horses in that early pick 40. You can almost think about singling.
One horse you're going to want to include, number 5, you mentioned Powwow Pal that I picked. Worked, schooled here the other day. Looks fantastic.
Oh, my God, did she look beautiful.
Oh, my God. He's just an unbelievable-looking animal. He's got an impeccable pedigree. The dam, she won a Grade 1, the CCA Oak. So he really, and I think he can run on the turf, too. So I think he's one to include.
He did look good.
Yeah, he's tremendous. On to the 4th race on today's card, and it is a maiden special weight. It is for 3-year-olds, a mile on the main track. We do have a scratch, number 3, Blue Cap, and my top selection, I went with number 5. This is interesting, Ron, our selections here, because they're all across the board. And
we do have the 10 alike.
We do have the 10 alike, but number 5, Arbitrator. This is a 3-year-old colt by Quality Road. From the Christophe Clement barn. I know that they think a little bit of him. The second dam is actually a multiple Grade 1 stakes winner, and that's Secret Status, a very nice mare. This is the family of Dunkirk, so there's some quality in this family and a progressive type. But this is one that I'm thinking was going to have a nice debut.
Really solid 10-1 on the morning line, ridden today by Joel Rosario. So one of those horses, these type of races here, where you got to go a little deep. I did go with the number 7, Great Stuff, and I'll tell you why. This one's stretching out to a mile after rallying 5 wide on the turn to finish 3rd behind a really impressive first-time starter called Kozan. That was going 7 furlongs. Kozan was the horse everybody was talking about that day, beautifully bred horse. Ian Wilkes has Luis Saez in the saddle, so I'm keen off Kozan, even though this horse ran 3rd behind it. I used the 10 performance bonus. One of the horses that we both agree on in this race in second, and certainly got to go back now that you said the barn is high on number 5. I've got to go back and look.
Great stuff running last time, January 24th. Any concern? It's Ian Wilkes, so he doesn't usually bring them back so quick. So I was concerned a little bit about a bounce, especially with a 3-year-old, but I guess it's Ian Wilkes, so he's usually conservative.
He's usually conservative. I think there was a good spot. I thought the horse ran very well in there. Nobody was beating Kozan that day. I mean, he was tipped more than Keith at 10 palms. I mean, that's Christine Lee. So,
but just you have to watch that 10 performance bonus, and I know they think a little bit of him. And also, he's a half to unlimited budget. A very nice mare between 8 and 9 furlongs, rated stakes winner. She won first time out, so this one might be an early one, so one to watch. On to the 5th race on today's card, and it is the Gulfstream Park Turf Sprint. 5 furlongs on the turf course, and my top selection, I was a little bit torn, and I'm seeing that you have number 1 Bold Thunder up there on top. And I'm really scared of that horse. In terms of numbers, that horse really stands out. However, I did go in a different direction. I went with number 3, Green Mask. This is a son of Mizzen Mast. Was second last time to Bold Thunder. However, was coming back off of a long layoff. Right. With Wesley Ward, the trainer, you can expect that he's going to take a step forward here. They had very high expectations for this horse early on in his career. They had some delays throughout. They gelded him. He's come back. He seems to be running. He's found a new life here on the turf, sprinting on the turf. But I think he's going to move forward. He's going to be tough.
Yeah, well, Bold Thunder, let me tell you why. This one's going to break from the rail. Boom. I like that. Boom. Got Paco Lopez in the saddle. So I'm guaranteeing this horse is going to be on or near the lead, just running and gunning. And as you mentioned, used its speed to win the Turf Dash at Tampa by 3.5 widening lengths. Green Mask, who was flying over to catch him last time out, you sort of got to have him on the exacta. I closed it out with the number 5, El Botas, trying to make it 2 in a row. Really nice performance last time out. Beat $62,000 optional claimers. Won that race by 2+ lengths. George Navarro really been on fire at the barn, so I threw him on my ticket.
Looking on to the 6th race on today's card, we have a maiden special weight. It is for 3-year-olds. It's a mile on the main track. And my top pick, I went with number 5. Here's another race run that we are all over the place. We're in agreement with the 10, interestingly enough. Again, however, number 5, Our Commodore, is my top selection from the Todd Pletcher barn. So it took money the first time out. Was a 5-2 in that debut. Really didn't show up that particular day. That was restricted company, although coming back, I have a feel. Also Triple Crown nominated. I like to look at that with sometimes with some of these young horses, and it's a little bit of an indication. I think this horse took money first time. It was well meant and will bounce back.
Yeah, you know, let's make the point here. That's what we were saying. These maiden races are fantastic this afternoon, and it is not shocking to anybody that if there's 12 horses in the race, there could be 10 different selections on top. That's how competitive and wide open they are. I went with the horse that you mentioned that we both had on the ticket to 10. Danzig Moon is making his 3-year-old debut, the first start since finishing second. That was going a mile at Churchill, who was back on October 26th. Trainer Mark Cassie, pretty good with this layoff. But I want to tell you about this horse. You know, this horse had trouble at the start, stumbled a little bit at the start, and really came running nicely in there. So I put this horse on top of my ticket. I went with the 7, 6th man, and that's Son of Smart Strike, debuting for Chad Brown. 5 Palm Meadows workout showing. Nicole starts his campaign. He's got Lasix. He's got Johnny Velasquez. Just one of many horses that you don't know how good this horse is going to be till he makes that first start. And they use Honor Earned in there for Ralph Nick's first time in his barn.
I actually used number 6 Saraguaro, and I think he might be sneaky. He's going to be at a price. Last time he came out of it was a race that a couple of horses had fallen in fast. In fact, he fell. He's first time Lasix this time. I think that he might be pretty sneaky and jump up into the exotics.
You know, if you can make single a couple of horses early on in your early wages, like you pick for them, whatever it might be, you need to go deeper in these races.
Yeah, you sure do. On to the 7th race, and the 7th race is a maiden special weight. It is for 3-year-olds, a mile and a 16 on the turf course. Here's another one, Ron, I think pretty competitive race. There's a couple of scratches, number 5, 15, and 16 have been scratched. My top selection, I went with number 13, and that is Irish Cat. This is a 3-year-old colt by Street Cry from the Chad Brown barn. The mare, she was a multiple graded stakes winning sprinter on the dirt, however, and this one's actually a half to a nice little stakes winner, albeit on the dirt, however. So in some ways a very dirt pedigree, although the sire Street Cry could certainly produce turf runners, and the works. I like the works. I know the barn thinks a little bit of this one.
Yeah, I went with and here we go again with these races that are so tough. I went with the 3, how we said it, Muhawer. I would imagine it's the son of a Dagliadoro, debuting for trainer Kieran McLaughlin with a series of strong workouts showing. That's what I liked about this horse. Not only workouts on the turf up at Palm Meadows. He gets Lasix, gets Julian Leperoux. I just like the workout pattern. I think this horse is going to run very, very well. I used the 2 Stardom Found. That's $370,000 Son of Tappet, debuting for Chad Brown. And, you know, is a strong 34% average. Listen to this stat. 34% average with horses debuting at a mile or longer. So he gets him ready to win, but we already knew that.
And that's why I have the 13, the other Chad Brown.
Exactly.
Muhawer, actually nice pedigree, and out of a very nice mare graded 1 stakes winner on the turf. She won second time out, so she was pretty early. And Stardom Found is actually a half to Stardom Bound, who was a nice mare, and she was a multiple, this is a full to a multiple graded stakes winner. So beautiful pedigrees in race 7. We will take a short break, and we will come back and have a look at the 8th race on today's card that kicks off the 20-cent Rainbow 6.
Gulfstream Park is one of Florida's top entertainment destinations, mixing restaurants, clubs, a casino, and international boutique shops with world-class racing. In a lavish, sun-drenched setting with the feel of a Mediterranean village, Gulfstream is a leading year-round entertainment and tourist destination and the home of luxury residences in 2014. The Stronach family, owners of Gulfstream Park, is committed to the sport of thoroughbred racing and the grace, spirit, and generosity of the horse.
The Rainbow 6 is back and it's better than ever. Now with a 20-cent base wager, it will expand the market for the popular bet. And in addition to doubling the base wager, the percentage return for the winners on the day the jackpot isn't hit increases to 70%, with 30% going to the carryover pool for the next program. Gulfstream Park, first race post, 12:30 p.m. each and every racing day.
My voice is gone. Welcome back to Gulfstream Park, and we're going to have a look at today's 8th race that kicks off the 20-cent Rainbow 6. somebody hit it the other day, Ron. So, but we do have a guarantee.
We have a guarantee of $100,000, and that person won it by a nose, and it paid $273,000. And if you want to go back and look at the last race on Friday, the Thursday, I believe it was, boy, what a performance by the nose, came flying at the end. Well, this 8th race pretty nice. I don't know how deep you're going to go in here. You could look at our selection. Hey, we're in agreement. We're first time today. It seems like with the number 7 Triple Charm, a multiple winner on the turf, is going back to the grass today for trainer Christophe Clement, so that's got to perk you up a little bit. First start since winning an $80,000 optional claimer on the Keeneland Poly track, was back on April 10th. The trainer, he's about 19% with a longer than 180-day layoff. Joel Rosario on the saddle. Got 8 street sailing at 7. My buddy done one on the ticket.
Yeah, I know. She's a really classy little filly. And I also threw in a number 12 Tapicat. I almost think you have to. She's 3 for 4 over the Gulfstream turf course, and her last winner was back in January of 2014. However, her numbers, she runs back to her earlier numbers. I think she's going to be tough. So nice little competitive race. Triple Charm, I do think that she stands out, though.
Yeah.
And Christophe Clement certainly can have them ready to run off the layoff. On to, so how deep are we going to go in there, Ron? Did we say in the for the Rainbow Six?
Well, we're going to go at least 5 deep.
Yeah,
in there.
okay.
You know,
we
had 5 different select. One we're in agreement with one, but I don't think you can single there. I'm going to go a little deep in that one.
Yeah, no, I don't feel confident to single in there. On to the 9th race on the card, and this kicks off the Pick 5, and there's also a guarantee, $100,000. And we do have, it is a maiden special weight for 3-year-olds. I love this. A lot of newly turned 3-year-old races today. 6 furlongs on the main track. We do have a scratch of number 4, which I think is a significant scratch.
It was one of my picks.
And it was it was my first alternate. So it was a horse that figures. I decided to go with a horse named Sir Alfred, and that is number 7. It looks like we're in agreement in this race. Sir Alfred was second first time out. Again, here's another one. Todd Pletcher took money in the debut, but was finished second behind a horse named Pow Wow Pal that we're going to see earlier on the card in the stake in the Texas.
Use that as a key to your handicapping in this race.
And this was in the slop. This that last race was in the slop for this horse. So I'm going to give him another shot. I think that he can. He's been doing well enough that he can win in here. And I also threw in number 11, Rare Art. I really like this. This is the one that scares me the most. He's a son of Speightstown. Speightstown, his number's very, very good with his first-time starters. And I know the connections. The barn thinks a lot of him.
Hey, I want to mention real quick a bit of a long shot on the outside, number 14 Spinner. This one is a 12th one. He's the son of Hardspun, who's just been burning up the training track in preparation for its career debut. Nick Zito horse. The obvious concern is that outside post. But this is a horse I'm not quite sure could win from out there. But this horse is working so well. You can get some nice value of putting him on your exacta trifecta ticket, and I'm putting him on my pick 5 ticket.
You know, it's funny you mentioned him because he cost $360,000 as a yearling. The sire that year, his yearlings for 25 sold. The yearling average was $85,000. So just relatively speaking, I look at that sometimes in terms of how people thought that they had held some promise early on when they sold as youngsters. So I think that's a really interesting pick. We're going to have to throw that one in. Yeah. On to the 10th race on the card, and it's our first graded stake of the afternoon, the Grade 3 Swanee River. 9 furlongs on the turf course. We do have a couple scratches. 5, 12, 14, and that kicks off the late pick 4.
The late pick, this is the one with the $200,000. We actually have 3 pick 4s this afternoon with a 13 race card. The last one is the one that has the $200,000 guarantee. But I bet you the early ones have over $200,000 in them anyway, so I'm not really concerned much about that. But it's great to have that, guarantee, so you're going to get at least $200,000 in the pool.
Yeah, and I actually went with number 8, and it's Sandiva, and this is a filly trained by Todd Pletcher. You know I'm a big fan of the Todd Pletcher horses on the turf. He had one yesterday. Sandiva, she's a group winner in England. She won last time the Tropical Park Oaks. I saw her work the other day. She worked with Commissioner, who's actually running later on in the card in the Dawn. So that's my pick.
Yeah, I went with the 13 White Rose. We got our exacta flip-flop. I also threw in the 2 Bitty Kitty on my ticket because I know you got to have a kitten horse somewhere around here.
On to the 11th race on the card, and it is the Grade 3 Fred Hooper. It is a mile on the main track. We do have a scratch. Number 2, Adirondack King, has been scratched. Ron, my top pick in there. This is a pretty competitive race, I think. I did go with number 12, and that's Ulaanbaatar. I thought I was going to take a shot. I know Ian Wilkes. He's high on him. He's looking at him for as a handicap horse down the road. 2 wins in his 2 latest starts, and although I'm very scared of another horse named Race Day, and that's the Todd Pletcher horse, number 7, who you had on top. And let's take a look at that Todd Pletcher run last time.
Yeah, very nice performance. This horse was so impressive. Just threw off and won this race by 8.5 lengths, just cruising in there. And I just thought that this horse, off that performance, this is a son of Tappet, just was so fantastic. I put him on top. The horse I put in second in this race, you just see him cruising under the wire, was Confrontation, making his first start since posting a 105 buyer figure when finishing a half length behind Don Handicap favorite today, Lee, excuse me, in the grade 3 Hounds Up. Now I make the mistake because we've been joking about that all. Strictly the one to beat in here, I think, Confrontation, but I'm going with Race Day.
On to the 12th race, and it is a first grade 1 of the afternoon, the Gulfstream Park Turf Handicap. It's 9 furlongs on the turf course, and very hard to look past Mishawish. And let's take a look at Mishawish's last race. Ron, he's won his last 2. He's won his last 3 of 4, in fact. He has a tendency to come out. He's not the most straightforward type of horse. I think masterful ride by Javier Castellano. I saw him work the other day. Brilliant.
Yeah, I watched this race with you. This last race was showing right here, and you were, oh my goodness, what's he doing on the turn? He's goofy and everything like that, but he straightened it out. He won very impressively, and I like the fact that he's working. He's only going to get better and better. So Mishawish on top of both of our tickets, and I think he's the one to beat in there. We used Imagining, and I know we both like Slumber in there. So Slumber, we got to put that one on the ticket. He's the sleeper. Excuse the corny phrase.
I love that. He is. You guys, you have to use Slumber. You have to use Slumber. You have to use Slumber. Let's take a look at what John Velasquez actually had to say about Slumber.
I think the only setback, I think, that he's probably going back into short distance. It's only a mile and 8, and it seems like he goes better in the long distance, mile and 3/8, mile and a half. But I think Chad is high on him, and hopefully we can get a little bit closer. He doesn't stay too far back, and maybe we get there on time.
So that was John Velasquez, who will be aboard Slumber this afternoon in the Gulfstream Park Turf Handicap. And he had a few questions in terms of distance, although I know Chad Brown he thinks that this horse is going to run really well. So that's good enough for me, and I'm going to use Slumber. On to the 13th and final race of the afternoon, and that is the Grade 1 Dawn Handicap. It is 9 furlongs on the main track. I'm excited.
Yeah.
And we do have a scratch in there. Number 7, Sloane Avenue, the European import.
Yeah.
He will not be running. He grabbed a quarter. He's out.
Right.
Ron, I went with Constitution. I saw him work last weekend. He's a big, beautiful, imposing horse. 3rd last time behind a couple of nice horses, including his stablemate, and that is Protonico. Although I think he's a progressive type. I think he's getting better. His last work was great, and I think he's going to be the horse to beat in here.
I loved Lee today, trying to win 2 in a row, because he came back from an 11-month layoff and won the House Hope Grade 3 very impressively. I'm expecting big things from this horse today. So number 4, Lee, on top of my ticket with Constitution for all the reasons you mentioned. And if things get dicey, you got number 3, East Hall, closing late to get it.
How cool is that race? And also Constitution won the Florida Derby here last year, so I think he's gonna be tough. But what about Commissioner? Commissioner, also from the Todd Pletcher barn. Todd is represented by 3 horses in this race. Commissioner finished 2nd in the Belmont Stakes, 3rd last time in a nice return off a layoff. And we'll just have to take a look at what John Velasquez had to say about Commissioner. John was aboard for that work last weekend.
Well, Commissioner, I haven't been on him on the races a long time, but I did work him last Sunday, and he actually worked really, really nice. I was impressed. I mean, I remember him worked him a year ago, and he was kind of a lazy horse, and you kind of have to ask him to work, and he worked really, really good the other day. So I hope that he can put that in that work that he worked here on Sunday into the race here tomorrow.
That's John Velasquez, who was a board commissioner for his work last Sunday. And Ron, commissioner, not always a great, as John pointed out, not a great workhorse. He was a little bit lazy earlier on, but that last one he was a lot more enthusiastic. And I spoke to Todd Fletcher right after the work, and he was actually he thought that was a pretty good work for that horse. So very competitive race.
Very competitive race. What a great day of racing. We're about to get started. Larry will be joining us. Larry Comas, our track announcer, with all the updated changes that you need to have a fun day at Gulfstream Park, and what a fantastic day it is.
Yeah, you guys got to stick around. We just have a tremendous day. 6 stakes on the card, 2 Grade 1s. There is nowhere else that you want to be except for Gulfstream Park today. Stick around, folks. We got a great one.